Sound has been making brilliant instruments for Contact for a number of years, and this one is Bliss Machine. It's a gorgeous guitar texture device. It's made of guitar loops played by Andy Britton, or Andrew Britton. You might not know the name, but you've probably heard the music that he's been making over the years. And this is a loop pool instrument, and I'll go through the features of the loop pool kind of engine. And then we'll listen to a lot of the different loops and how you can use them in your own music. They kind of lend themselves towards building layer upon layer of kind of pad or rhythmic progression enhancers, kind of those layers in the background that fill out a track. You'll see what we mean. It's got a Contact 5 and a Contact 6 version, and there are patches for each. You can open the Contact 5 versions in 6, but obviously not vice versa. You do need the full version of Contact. So it's got the usual Contact 5.8 and up and Contact 6 system requirements. There's a load of presets that you can use at 288 guitar loops organized by key and chord type. It's only about a gig download, but the engine is what makes it special, and the way that you can interact with those loops. The loops make it special too, but the engine is the way that you personalize and customize it. So you've got an XY pad, a waveform section, and some cool effects, delay effects if you're using the Contact 6 version. Let's just take a look at the engine first, because it deserves some explanation. If you haven't used the loop pool engine before, you've got an XY pad in the upper left, and it can control the filter, the trem, the convolution, and a peaking EQ. Each time you click on them, they turn on and off, and then there's a little bar at the bottom where you can see the filter values, or the convolution values, wet, dry, tremolo values, speed and depth, all of those things in the middle of the interface here. And so as you move around the colored dots, you'll see the values of the XY positions. The convolution is controlled by two drop-downs. The first chooses sort of a category, and within that category, let's say we chose medium space, you'd find a subset of medium spaces like magneto. And then you've got tremolo. So tremolo is going to be positive or negative polarity, and based on multiples of 16th notes. You've got a peaking EQ. You can think of it like a parametric EQ, although I think the Q is going to change depending on how much the gain is, and a high and low pass filter. And so the presets load with a lot of these chosen, and that really helps enhance the sound quality and the way that you're going to perceive the sound when you hit the key, but you're also going to be affected by the ADSR. So attack, decay, sustain, release here. As the lines get longer, that means that those levels are going up in a traditional ADSR, and as they get narrower, that means those values are getting smaller or shorter. Got a reverse button. And then there's 4 different layers of each loop. So when you hold down a key and you move the mod wheel, you'll be moving through different, may not be perfectly obvious in that example. And with each of those layers, you can choose the speeds that they're going. Double time, quadruple time, super slow. You can, that last note that you hit, you can note lock it so that it spreads across the keyboard. And then you've got a remix on or off button, which is a remixed version of the loops that you're hearing. And you can change where the loops start. So per note, when the note lock is on, it's going to affect all the notes. But let's say I press this C, and then I move over to a D, the loop start goes back to the beginning. So per note, you can choose different loop starts, so that when you press down, it moves through the waveform at a different part of the wave. And then for Contact 6 users, you've got the replica delay. Some easy presets at the beginning there. Ping and stereo mix. This time is kind of cool. Let's see if I can get it to. kind of gives you an idea of how smoothly it can flip through times there. Feedback, low and high cut, depth and rate there. You've got a little manual and a mod wheel designer where you can draw in your own curves, choose from some presets, or change the shape of the presets, set min and max values, or get a little chaos going where as you move your mod wheel, it'll dance around the ramp and find different places to sort of glitch out your mod wheel movements. So again, the mod wheel is there to pick one of the 4 layers basically, and I think one of the presets, or some of the presets, have real stepwise motion for the way that the mod wheel is going to actually pick different layers instead of crossfading. If you get a stepwise motion here, then you will be actually jumping through the layers without crossfading through them. Now, I always like to start off at the default. So this is actually the default preset, and when you play a note, it's very clear when we're moving through each of those areas of the loop pool. The red chords in the middle, or the red notes in the middle of the scale on the keyboard there, are the major chords, and then the purple are minor chords, whereas the green are individual notes. So you could actually play melodies with the green. Although the pattern, it kind of depends on which pattern you're using. But it's really just one note there. And then major chord, minor chord. Gives you a good orientation. Now let's get into playing around a little bit. There are a couple more controls at the top, but let's dig in and explore some of these sounds a little bit. I like how that one's called burble. This is the burble section. All right, in this patch or preset, all of the keys are reversed and they all turn red. But if you unreverse them, you get to remember where the octaves are of each of the major, minor keys and the single notes. There's a good use of the tremolo. You can hear the tremolo dividing and chopping each of the slices. If we take the tremolo down, they become much steadier, or we can invert the tremolo. So it's got a different polarity. Or change its speed. Or turn it off. Let's check out this filter. All right, now this one is using this tape aging dial. I didn't talk about this before, but as you move this reel to reel, it's kind of very aged tape quality that's separate from everything else there as an insert. Bad Soldier. So now we've got the keys section. Good use of a reverse and a delay. This is an example when the mod wheel is jumping around like this of the mod wheel curve designer, and the chaos level is set to 64 so that as I move this mod wheel, I mean, I'm moving it up and down. As I move it up and down, it's jumping all over the place in terms of the message that it's sending the instrument. You can just hear the drums come in at a lot of these. They just lend themselves for exploration and adding instruments and layers. This is another one where I want to look at that curve designer. Yeah, look at those sawtooth. So as you move your mod wheel up slowly, it fades into the first one and then back out, into the second one back out, into the third one back out, and into the fourth one. Very cool use of pattern building there. Unexpected mapping. Here's some pads. Now these pads aren't the smoothest pads, they're slightly rhythmic. With all of those different little slices glitching around and the long reverb tail, it almost gets slightly granular. Carney piano. In this preset, the note lock is on, so we've got basically one sound spread across the keyboard, all the blue notes, and then they're playing in reverse, and the envelope is basically emphasizing that attack and then dropping off quickly so that we have mostly like a piano, a single instrument type of sound with some delays. So there you have it, Bliss Machine using the loop pool engine contact instrument from Sounddust. It is available at the Pulse download store, and there's a bunch of other Sounddust libraries at the Pulse store as well. I mean, there are a ton of different libraries that they've put out over the years. Pendle is the guy behind Sounddust. He's based out of the UK, but it's also available at sound-dust.com at /Bliss Machine. So you can get it from Pendle directly there as well. Again, it uses Contact 5 or 6, 5, 8 and or 6, but you will need the full version. Right, so that's Bliss Machine. I hope you get a chance to check it out yourself. There's more videos online from Pendle, and there's just some great things in here to explore, experiment with, make your own, customize. I hope you get a chance to check it out. Enjoy, and take care.